गुरवे सर्वलोकानां भिषजे भवरोगिणां निधये सर्वविद्यानां श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। वक्रतुण्डमहाकाय सूर्यकोटिसमप्रभ निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा। गजाननं भूतगणादिसेवितं कपित्तजम्बूफलसारभक्षितम् उमासुतं शोकविनाशकारणं नमामि विघ्नेश्वरपादपङ्कजम्। शुक्लाम्बरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये। व्यासं वसिष्ठनप्तारं शक्ते पौत्रमकल्भषं पराशरात्मजं वन्दे शुकधातं तपोनिधिं। व्यासाय विष्णुरूपाय व्यासरूपाय विष्णवे नमो वै ब्रह्मनिधये वासिष्ठाय नमो नमः। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं चैव ततो जयमुदीरये। So yesterday we saw what Mahabharata is, who wrote this, who helped him prepare writing this, whom narrated this, all these things, right? Does everyone remember what we discussed yesterday? Yes? Good. Okay. So Mahabharata, we said, is one of the itihasas. If you remember correctly, it's under Smritis, comes under Smritis. It's one of the itihasas along with Ramayana. And who composed it? It was prepared, written by Vyasa. Okay, Vyasa Krishna Dvaipayana. He composed it and he told his student, disciple, Vaishampana, he told him. And Vaishampayana narrated this Mahabharata at King Janameja's Sarpa Yajna. Okay, snake sacrifice. At that ceremony, he narrated it. And then from at that point, Suta Mahamuni, Ugrashrava Sauti, he heard about it. He then came to Naimisha forest and there he narrated this to Shaunaka and other rishis. Okay, that's how it came to know for everybody. Okay, so Mahabharata, as Vyasa says, it includes everything. Okay, Vedas, Upanishads, Puranas, Smritis, it includes everything from creation to dissolution of everything. Okay, it covers everything. And you can say that there is nothing that's not written in Mahabharata. Okay, the beauty of this is normally when someone writes, even today, if someone writes a book or something, okay, it focuses on one thing normally. Okay, you don't see that. But Mahabharata, whichever area you take, if you look at explaining how good, how beautiful a mountain is, it is there. Explaining a river, okay, how fast it is flowing, it's there. Okay, many shlokas of that explaining that. If explaining how beautiful a child is, it is there. Okay, or explaining a war, okay, there are thousands and thousands of shlokas explaining the war. Okay, you can't simply say that person, Arjuna released an arrow, Karna released an arrow, Arjuna released an. You can't keep on going explaining same thing again and again. It has to be interesting, right? If somebody is writing thousands and thousands of lines on a war, that war has to be, for the readers, it has to be interesting. And Mahabharata keeps us interested in that. When I was reading Drona Parva, for example, Drona was leading the command. I was thinking, okay, based on what I knew from Mahabharata, I thought Mahabharata Drona is going to die today. I'm going to finish in this chapter, Drona is going to die. No, he's not. And the next day I did same thing. Okay, Drona probably will die today. No, he did not die. It continued and continued and continued. For about a month, I was reading and still Drona was fighting. And I'm thinking, okay, how long this is going to go? It keeps interesting because there are a lot of things it brings in. Okay, not just somebody releasing an arrow or fighting with something and then somebody getting hurt. It keeps the story interesting. That's why Vyasa's composition, this Mahabharata, even if you don't read it from a religious angle, if you read it from purely as a novel, an epic, it's such a beautiful thing. Okay, when you grow a little bit old, probably around 15, 18 or something, you can start reading it. I mean, most of you have read Harry Potter or other things, okay, which has nothing in it. Okay, compared to Mahabharata, those are nothing. I'll tell you. If you have read Harry Potter, I'll tell you can start reading Mahabharata. Okay, because this has got so much in it that tells you how to live. Plus, also, it is interesting. It is not just religious education. It tells, it's an interesting reading as well. There are so many things we can learn. Okay, so coming back to this story, what we covered yesterday, Ganesha and Vyasa make a deal that one has to continuously narrate, another one is going to write. Ganesha is going to write, but he will understand and write, okay, before he writes anything. And then we said there are 18 parvas, 18 sections in Mahabharata. Again, I say that the parvas or the sections that's not normally read, right? For example, Vana Parva, Shanti Parva, Anushasana Parva, all these have so much information in it. Okay, so much useful information. Normally they are skipped because the story doesn't move in them. Okay, all we can say is in one line, if you want to say Vana Parva, Pandavas spent 13 years in the forest. Okay, that's the story if you want to summarize the entire chapter, but there is so much more in it. That's why it's interesting to read. Then we looked at the benefits of Mahabharata. So when Suta Mahamuni explains that all these things, so suddenly Shaunaka and others who are listening to Suta Mahamuni, they ask a question. You said before coming here from Janameja's sacrifice, you said you visited Samanta Panchaka, a pilgrimage. What is Samanta Panchaka? Explain us. So they completely went off topic. They stopped talking about Mahabharata. They asked about Samanta Panchaka. This is the beauty. Again, Mahabharata, you just start reading something and then suddenly there is another question somebody asking and goes completely somewhere else and then brings it back to the topic we were talking. Okay, so Samanta Panchaka here just explains. So Suta Mahamuni explains Samanta Panchaka is when Treta Yuga and Dwapara Yuga. Yuga, does anyone know what Yuga means? Yuga is, yes, what is Yuga? Sorry, who's that?
It's like millions of years.
Yeah.
So each Yuga, so there's Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, Kali Yuga, and
Satya Yuga. Or
I don't know the other one.
Yeah, so there are 4 yugas. Yugas is like cycles or ages. Okay, age, let's call it age. You call in modern day in history, we call Bronze Age, Iron Age, like that, right? So we call modern days and all these kind of things. Okay, and you people are 21st century kids. I don't know what you call something. Okay, so different ages. Okay, so in our religion, we call cycles of lives, the time cycle in 4 different yugas. Okay, Krita Yuga, also called Satya Yuga, which is the longest one. Then Treta Yuga, which is a little bit less, Dwapara Yuga, and Kali Yuga. Okay, we are currently in Kali Yuga. Kali Yuga is estimated to be around 30 million some years. Okay, so that's what it is, human years. And then Dwapara is another little bit more, another I think twice the number of years, and then Treta Yuga is even more, and then Satya Yuga is even more. Okay, the Yuga cycles continuously repeat. Okay, once the Kali Yuga finishes, it starts again with Satya Yuga, and one such cycle of 4 yugas is called Mahayuga. Okay, and then there are many Mahayugas Okay, there are 1,000 Mahayugas, such cycles happens in Brahma's one day. Okay, so that there are a lot of things, okay, which will come to in another call probably towards the end of this. This is getting numerically, it's getting very difficult to understand. We'll come to that. So what here Suta Mahamuni says is between the Treta Yuga and Dwapara Yuga, okay, Rama, that is Parashurama here, not Sri Ramachandra, okay, Parashurama, son of Jamadagni Rishi, okay, he is a Brahmana, but he took weapons in his arm. Okay, he took weapons because the Kshatriya orders, the Varna, the people belonging to Kshatriyas, they were going off dharma, their duties. Okay, so that's why he took arm and he defeated all the Kshatriyas in the world, and then he killed all those Kshatriyas who were going against the dharma, and then from that battle he did, there are 5 lakes formed. Okay, the blood, from the blood, and at that time his forefathers, his ancestors, Parashurama's ancestors came and said, stop this war, whatever you are doing, that's enough. Okay, and then they blessed him. At that time Parashurama asks that these 5 blood lakes become holy places. Okay, they become turned into water and they turned into holy places. They are 5, that's why Pancha is 5. So Samanta Panchaka is actually a pilgrimage site. That's what Suta Mahamuni says. And then why Parashurama did this, all these things, and Parashurama's history, everything will come later in the Mahabharata. Okay, so this is just about Samanta Panchaka. He explains that. Then he says, Suta Shonaka Mahamuni asks, you said there are a lot of people in the war, Mahabharata war. How many people were there? You mentioned about Akshohini. Okay, Akshohini is a kind of measuring unit. How many people were there? 100 people or 1,000 people or whatever it is. Okay, Suta Mahamuni says there are 18 Akshohini people. What is Akshohini means? Okay, he explains the number. So if anybody is interested in maths, here is the table. Okay, so Suta Mahamuni says when it is Akshohini, he says how the army was measured or counted. Okay, the smallest unit of army is called Patti. Okay, Patti means there is 1 chariot, 1 elephant, 5 foot soldiers, and 3 horses. That is 1 Patti, 1 group. Okay, 3 Pattis becomes a Senamuk, 3 Senamuks becomes a Gulma, 3 Gulmas becomes Gana, 3 Ganas become Vahini, and like that, like that. So you have Vahini, Pritana, Chamu, Ankini, and then 10 Ankinis becomes 1 Akshohini. Okay, when you come to 1 Akshohini, we will have 21,000 chariots. Okay, 21,000 chariots, 21,000 elephants, 109,000 foot soldiers, and 65,000 horses. Okay, that many in 1 Akshohini. How many people were there in Mahabharata war? Kauravas had 11 Akshohini army. Okay, Kauravas army was 11 Akshohini strong, and Pandavas army was 7 Akshohini strong. Okay, so Pandavas had total 459,000 horses in their army. Kauravas had 721,000 horses. Okay, like that, elephants and chariots and things like that. So this is the volume or the size of the people, elephants, chariots, horses, and then there are large number of camels, which is not counted here. Camels and other animals also were there in the war. Okay, so all these were part of the war in Mahabharata. Think how big it is. You had 1 million horses were there. Nearly 2 million people were involved in the war. Okay, so many people fought in that war. Yes, Sachit?
How did the Kauravas get so many people?
Because a lot of people supported them. They had a lot of wealth with them. That's why a lot of... Sorry?
How much in like rupees?
Rupee soup was not there. So those days, they used to measure in gold.
Oh yeah, how many like kilograms of gold?
Don't know such a really don't know. They had so much gold. Okay, they could give it to everybody, and that's how they got so much support.
Thank you.
No problem. Bala.
I thought everyone in a war would have a horse.
Not everybody. Some people would go in a walking, foot soldiers.
Thank you.
Okay, so that's the number of people that's included. Okay, so the next what happens is Suta Mahamuni continues with the explanation, further details. Okay, if you remember, I said this Mahabharata was narrated at a king's sacrifice. He was doing a yajna, sacrifice, and that's where it's narrated. Who was that king? Anybody? Who was that king?
Janamejaya.
Very good. It was in Janamejaya's snake sacrifice, Vaishampayana narrated Mahabharata, right? So now this story starts building up towards that snake sacrifice. Why did Janamejaya do that snake sacrifice? Okay, that's where the story goes now. There are a lot of little stories surrounding that. Okay, we will start with one story now, which is called Sarama, Sarama's curse. Okay, it comes in Adi Parva, the first section, and the subsection is called Paushya Parva. Okay, so what happens is once Janamejaya, who is Janamejaya? Okay, let me do one thing before we go into a little bit more detail. Where is this? Can you see a new screen now? Yes, anyone?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so just to give background, okay, in our creation, what it says is Narayana created everything, okay? From Narayana, Brahma came through. From Brahma, all the creation started. All the rishis, okay, we start from here, left side. Sanaka, Sananda, Sanatana, Sanat Kumara, all these rishis, Atri, Angirsa, Pulastya, Pulala, Bhrigu, Vashishta, Narada, Marichi, Kritu, Kardama, all these rishis came from Brahma, okay? And also Manu, who is from whom humans started, Manushya. Okay, we call Manushya is humans. Manu, from Manu started. Daksha, who is again another Prajapati, he's called Prajapati, that means he's the creator. And then the Rudras, that is Shiva Surupas. So all those created from Brahma, and there are others created like Adharma, Dharma, Kama, Krodha, all these things were created Brahma. But what I want to cover here is, if you look here in this chain from Manu, there is Uttanapada, Dhruva, Vena, Prutu, Pracheta, Daksha. Okay, there is another Daksha here, Daksha Prajapati, another Prajapati, Daksha Prajapati. From that Daksha had 50 daughters. Okay, out of that, well, he had thousands of sons. Those all sons became ascetics, they have become rishis. Then he had 50 daughters. Out of that 50 daughters, he gave 27 daughters to Chandra, moon, and then 10 to Dharma, and then 13 he married to Rishi Kashyapa. Okay, Kashyapa is here, he is son of Marichi. Okay, he is son of Marichi. So he married to Kashyapa. From Kashyapa, out of those 13, the first wife is called Aditi. Okay, from Aditi, deities are formed. Indra, Vishnu, all these were born. Okay, Surya, for example, Vivaswa is Surya. From Vivaswa, Vaivasvata Manu was born. Okay, Vaivasvata Manu was born. Manu is again creator. From Manu, Vaivasvata Manu, there are two main characters here, Ikshvaku and Ila. Okay, Ikshvaku is the founder of solar dynasty. Sri Ramachandra, in Ramayana, you will hear about Ikshvaku dynasty. Ila married Moon. Okay, Chandra. Ila married Chandra. So Chandra is son of Ila married Buddha. Okay, Buddha is son of Chandra. So Ila married Buddha. From Buddha, lunar dynasty started. Chandra Vamsha started. Okay, there are Pururuvas, Yayatis. Okay, there are many. So first Ayus, Nahusha, Yayati, and then from Yayati, there is Puru, and then like that, there are a lot of kings coming through. Follow this blue arrow. Okay, we come here. Okay, there is king called Dushyanta. Okay, we hear about Dushyanta's story, Dushyanta, Shakuntala, all those stories you might have heard. And then King Bharata. Okay, and then there is Hasti. Okay, from Hasti, the kingdom is called Hastinapur. The city is called Hastinapur. He created a new city called Hastinapur. Okay, Mahabharata, all the Pandavas, Kauravas resided in Hastinapura, the city called Hastinapura. From there, fourth generation, there was a king called Kuru. Okay, that's why everybody from that dynasty are called Kuru dynasty. Okay, Kauravas, they are called Kauravas from there. So like that, we come here. There is Shantanu, who is the father of Bhishma. Okay, Bhishma, and then Vichitravirya, Shantanu's son. From him, there are Dhritarashtra, Pandu, and Vidura. Three of them were born. Okay, so from Pandu, we have 5 Pandavas: Yudhishthira, Bhima, Arjuna, Nakula, Sahadeva. Okay, from Dhritarashtra, we have 100 Kauravas. Okay, 100 sons, Duryodhana and others. So now here Arjuna had a son called Abhimanyu. Abhimanyu's son is Parikshita. Parikshita's son is Janamejaya. Okay, the sacrifice, snake sacrifice we were talking about was being performed by Janamejaya, King Janamejaya. Janamajaya's father is Parikshita. Parikshita's father is Abhimanyu. Abhimanyu's father is Arjuna. Okay.
Whose chair is this?
Sorry.
No, actually, who sat on this? Is she or?
Not sure. Okay. So I didn't hear. I'll come back to you later. Okay. So Janamejaya, Parikshita's son, he was performing a sacrifice. Okay, not the snake sacrifice, but he was performing a very long sacrifice in Kurukshetra. Okay, with his brothers called Shrutasena, Ugrasena, and Bhimasena. He was performing with them. When he was performing the sacrifice, the story says that there is a dog came, okay, a puppy, okay, it came to that sacrifice. And Janamejaya's brothers chased that puppy away and harassed it and then sent it away. Okay, the reason is when you are doing puja or something, there dogs are not allowed. Okay, if the dog comes and touches things, then it's considered as unclean. Okay, that's why Janamajaya's brothers chased that dog away. What that puppy did was it went home crying, okay, saying, and it went home crying, saying they beat me up, okay, and then that dog's mother, all the dogs were created by a someone called Sarama. Okay, Sarama is the mother of all the dogs. Okay, so it went to Sarama, and then Sarama, they said, I did not do anything. I was just watching from a distance. They chased me away. They beat me up. Okay, Sarama cursed Janamejaya, saying that my son did not do any harm, did not even smell the ghee or anything that's left there. Okay, you simply beat him up. So because you hurt him, I'm going to curse you, saying that when you least expect something, a bad things will happen for you. Okay, when you least expect something, something bad will happen to you. That's the curse Sarama gave to King Janamejaya. Janamejaya was very worried what to do next. He returns to Hastinapura and then he looks for a Purohita. Okay, the reason for Sarama cursing is you should not hurt anybody, okay, for no reason. Okay, injuring somebody is bad. Okay, we should not do that. Okay, we should not injure anybody. Okay, that's why even though the dog, if the dog had gone and started disturbing the sacrifice, then maybe it should have been chased away. But this dog was not doing anything. Okay, that's why that was a punishable offense there. So Janamejaya returns to his kingdom, Hastinapura, and then he looks for a Purohita. The reason for Purohita is the Purohita is somebody who is knowledgeable, Brahmana, knowledgeable, who will help in guiding one towards doing the right things. Okay, he looks for a Purohita. One day when he was out, he comes across a Rishi called Shrutashrava. Okay, and that Shrutashrava, he says, he looked very knowledgeable, and Janamejaya says, can you be please our Purohita, our priest? Purohita is priest. Okay, be our family priest. And Shrutashrava says, no, I can't, because I'm doing some penance. You can take my son, Somashrava, who is also very learned. Okay, he is also well learned. Take him with you. He will be over. But that Somashrava says, but Shrutashrava says, he is okay, he is very good. He is born of a snake. Okay, his mother is a snake. Okay, but he is, only bad thing is if someone asks him something, he will grant it. Okay, that's the only bad thing for him. Otherwise, he's very good, he's knowledgeable, take him. And Janamejaya agrees with Somashrava as his Purohita. Okay, there is two things to note here. One is Shrutashrava is born of a snake mother. Okay, he has a links to snakes. Okay, the second thing is the son, the Somashrava, he also says that he will grant the wishes whatever someone asks. Okay, so he will do whatever. So these are the two things which will come to haunt later in Janamejaya when he is doing snake sacrifice. Okay, so that's the small story. What Suta Mahamuni says is, when he was doing that, he narrates another story. Okay, while all this was happening, there was a rishi called Daumya. Okay, the story immediately switches to the other side. Okay, Daumya story. We'll just leave the Sarama and everything else. The curse happened. Janamejaya found a Purohita priest for him, and that story passes there. It's a new scene now. Okay, this is in this scene, new characters called Daumya. Daumya is a rishi. He had 3 students. Okay, he has 3 students called Aruni, Uttanka, and Veda. Okay, we probably will cover them tomorrow. Okay, I can see some faces that already, there's too many new names coming. I probably will cover these 3 students' stories tomorrow. So before we close today, I think there was a question posted, not this one. There was a question posted, asked by somebody, what is the significance of Om and Swastika? Does anyone know Om and Swastika?
I think represents the Brahman, and then swastika represents, I don't know what swastika means.
Okay, Dhruti, thank you.
Not
Thank you, Sajid.
sure.
The Om was the first sound on earth.
Yeah. Very good. That's correct. So what Om is also called Pranava. Okay, Pranava sound is the origin of sound. Okay, it represents, as Sajid said, it represents Brahma. Brahma is not Bhagavan Brahma, Paramatma. Okay, Param Brahma. Okay, it represents Narayana himself. Okay, that's the sound, Om sound. What Vedas and Upanishads, everything says, for example, if we go into Mandukya Upanishad, which talks a lot about Pranava sound, it says it is the beginning, it is the end, it is the past, it is the present, it is the future, it is everything. Okay, effectively, Om, Pranava sound represents Narayana himself. Okay, So, and it is the root of all the Vedas. Okay, because Narayana is the root of all the Vedas, Pranava sound is the root of all the Vedas. Okay, so that's what. So Pranava sound represents all the root of all the Vedas, and what is said is, again, this is what Shastras say. I'm going to say what Shastras say. Okay, Shastras say that Om sound or Pranava sound you can recite if you have Upadesha. Okay, Upanayana and all samskara, like just like the Shrutis. Okay, Om is a mantra. Om on its own, the Pranava sound on its own is a mantra. Okay, so to chant that, one should have Upanayana. Okay, so that's the important thing, and it is the root of all the Vedas. It is with that, who worships with that, again, it is the ultimate knowledge. Veda is knowledge, right? So that's the ultimate. Anyone understands Narayana is destined for moksha. Okay, so that's the Om. It's in simple terms, that's the Om. And swastika is, again, it's a symbol used in Sanatana Dharma. It is believed that symbol of good, auspiciousness, welfare from long time. It also means eternal, but I haven't been able to find anything in our scriptures which describes swastika. Okay, it may have come over time, the symbol may have been started coming, but I haven't been able to find anything in our scriptures authentic which says this is the definition of swastika. So I don't know if anyone knows anything, but I haven't been able to find anything. Any comments, questions, anyone? Yes, Sajit.
In the family tree, you're just presenting.
Yeah.
So I forgot. So the last king was killed by a minister.
Yeah. Yeah. So
and then all of the
so what happens was, because it's Kali Yuga, okay, normally till that time Kshatriyas used to become kings. Okay, so
Yes.
because of Kali Yuga, where all the duties, everything is intermixed, okay, the orders were mixed, everything got mixed. Okay, there is no clear definition of who is Brahmana, who is Kshatriya, who is Vaishya, who is Shudra. Okay, the duties got mixed, the orders got mixed, it is intermixing of everything. That resulted in diminishing duties of definition of these things. So that ended up, and then a minister stabbed the king, killed the king, and then that's where this lineage ends. Pandavas lunar dynasty ends. That's what Srimad Bhagavata says.
So basically, after the last king was killed by the minister, there's like a restart in all duties.
No, it's what happens is there will be a new king or minister or whatever it is. But what I'm saying here is the lunar dynasty ends there. It doesn't mean that all the kingdoms end. Okay, kings continued, but they're not belonging to the lunar dynasty, Pandavas dynasty.
The lunar dynasty is extinct.
Yeah. Okay, Ashwini's phone. What's your name?
Tulsi.
Okay, hi Tulsi.
Does the swastika mean peace?
Yeah, I mean, it has different definitions. Okay, it has different definitions. I don't know whether they are, most of them look like a modern day interpretations. Okay, modern day definitions. I haven't been able to find, as I said, anything in our scriptures which defines either swastika as a symbol of two lines going across or the meaning of it. Om Pranava sound is clearly defined in the Upanishads, Vedas, everywhere. Okay, Om Pranava sound is defined. Again, symbol is something that came out probably in the recent years. Okay, in Devanagari scripting and writing and things, that's where probably the symbol came out. But the sound itself is there represented in the Vedas. And Anjay,
No. Why did so many people join the battle in the war?
because it was a case of doing the right thing. Okay, Pandava side, everybody has a view, right? So everybody has a view whether it is right or wrong. Okay, some people thought Duryodhana and Kauravas were right. They joined that army, or for the other reasons, because as I said, wealth or whatever it is, they thought Duryodhana was going to win. He had all the strength. They went that side. Or others said, we are going to fight for the justice. Okay, that's why they joined Pandava's side. So everybody took a side. There is no one who can abstain from that. It was that. So again, Mahabharata reason it happened, we will hear about this probably later when all these creations and everything we come in towards the end of Adi Parva or middle of Adi Parva, where Krishna and deities, because earth was overcrowded, they had to balance it. Okay, there are a lot of people, they had to reduce the head count. They had to reduce the number of people on earth and all the animals and everything. That's why Krishna came to this earth, and then that's how the world, the war started. Everybody took a side. Daivik?
Who was the last king in the Mahabharata war?
Last king in Mahabharata war. Is that what you're asking?
Yes.
So in Mahabharata war, again, all the Pandavas survived, right? So all the Pandavas survived, 5 of them survived. Dhritarashtra did not participate in the war because he was old and blind. That's why he did not participate. So he survived as well. So Pandavas and Dhritarashtra were there, but Yudhishthira became the king after the war. I think we are going to get disconnected in a minute. Okay, if we get disconnected, we will see you tomorrow. But does that answer your question, Daivik?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. I think Ashwini's phone, we probably have a question, but I think we are going to get disconnected in a minute.